Welcome. So I'm just getting set up here, figuring out the lighting on this beautiful rainy day, getting up to speed on our YouTube connections, and then getting onto Facebook, which is just so exciting. A new part of the connection. Maybe we're good without that lighting. Oh my Lord. Okay, let's do this. So next we're going to go live on Insta. Blessings, Insta family. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this day. Making little adjustments. Yes. Okay, now we're going to get on to Facebook and make sure that this is where it should be. It's so funny. Uh-oh, look at that. It's so funny, this new grid of going live everywhere. I'm into it, and I'm very, very grateful for everyone's help. I've had some people helping me. Blessings. Thank you for hopping on Insta. I've had so many people helping me prepare little digital items that is not my repertoire. And so I'm very, very grateful that I can be here on Facebook Live as well as Insta. And of course, the home ground zero for me, where it all started many, many years ago with my videos on YouTube. So blessings and welcome, everyone. I'm so very grateful to be with you here today. Some stuff is going down in the matrix, isn't it? Some grids are running for sure. It's quite amazing. I'm going to wait till a few more people get up onto the show here today to talk about next week's show. But in the meantime, I welcome you and I thank you. And I'm so grateful if you are hopping on here today. My name is Tuesday May Thomas, and this is my weekly live stream. Every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I go live. And I've been doing this on YouTube for since at some point in 2018. And then on Insta, we just added the Insta with the YouTube last year. And now, just beginning on Monday night for that mindful meditation I shared through my other page, Grid Mind Science. Now I'm on Facebook as well, and it feels so good to cross-pollinate and connect with divine community all the way across the board, because I know each of us maybe have a preference of where we like to connect and hook up. So thank you, everyone, for hopping on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm so excited. I feel very excited today to bring you this news. To bring you this information on this theme, nothing new under the sun. Okay, and it seems that it is an ongoing theme that that we all have a consensus, that we all have an agreement to. And like so many things in this world, there are stories, there are ideas, there are paradigms, there are belief systems that we are born into, that we simply assume are truth and allow to be instilled almost as a meter in our DNA that moves us unconsciously in the world. And I feel deeply that this theme, that this idea that there's nothing new under the sun, this concept is one of them. So again, before I get too juicy, deep into stuff, thank you everyone for hopping, for saying hi. I feel so grateful everyone's here. Blessings. I feel like this is a theme for a lot of us that we're like, yes, what's up with this idea? There's nothing new under the sun. What is up with this? And because a lot of individuals in a lot of the different communities that I'm aware of, like we have been waking up, and we are continuing to wake up. And so those parts of the story in our DNA, the stories in our makeup that we've been given from our families, our parents, our guardians, societies, traditions, cultures, churches, religions, whatever have you be it, all of these things are just getting shaken. They're getting shaken down to the foundation, down to the root. And we are questioning. We are questioning ourselves as we heal, right? A lot of the things I teach, as you know, thank you everyone for following Grid Mind Science, whether it's on Twitter, which I'm not very active on, but still I'm there as Grid Mind Science. And thank you for following Grid Mind Science on Facebook and Instagram. You know, my holy ground is like YouTube is where I started, as I said, and Insta. I love those platforms. So right now I am more active on them. And I'm really grateful for the community. We're building a really strong Grid Mind Science community at Instagram. And I'm very, very grateful to share these teachings, because everything I share here on this show, 4D Trinity, is all about us really mastering this 3D matrix, mastering this world that we've been taught. And really, that's all it is. The world is what we have been taught. The world is the matrix. The world is everything that we've been told about everything. And the point of this show, and what I like to share, is that that is not the point where things end, that's only the beginning point of where we can begin to gain in curiosity, of where we can begin to delve deeper. And again, the teachings that I share regarding Grid Mind Science is all about mastering this 3D matrix. Yet, how do we master the matrix? We master it by healing ourselves. You know, and I know for some people, I've been scrutinized on my page, Grid Mind Science, because number one, I'm female. And number two, because I talk about science and I bridge metaphysics with it. And some hardcore old school, and I'm just going to put this in a bubble of light because it's not a judgment. And it really, what I'm experiencing is that some hardcore old school male aspects that are deeply rooted in old school science, they kind of push up against what I bring forth in the divine feminine aspects of merging the consciousness, the metaphysics with the science. And really, that healing is a very, very important part of our ascension, of our enlightenment. If you're walking with wounds and with scars and with parts of yourselves that are seeking liberation, yet they have not been given the right of way, or the correct conditions have not been created for that to be so, those are going to be the filters through which you see and experience all of life. And of course, there's not going to be anything new under the sun, if you get what I'm saying, because all of those filters and those deep scars and that pain and that rage or that jealousy, that blame, that shame, whether you've done wrong or someone else has done wrong unto you, whether it's been once or multiple times in your life, if you don't get that shit straight, if you don't get into the core and forgive yourself or forgive others and really start a spiritual practice that is rooted in the heart, that's all this, you know, we can get all fancy with our Merkabahs and stuff. Yet when we go into the heart space, that tiny space, and we really begin to tap what is beyond this world, what is beyond this theme of there's nothing new under the sun, when we break out of the matrix and get out of the replays of all of our collective memories that weave the Akashic records together, when we loosen those moorings, then we step in to the now-sphere, to the now moment, and that's through the tiny space of the heart. Yet if there's a whole bunch of cobwebs, and there's a whole bunch of pain and hate and fear and et cetera, judgment, it's either going to be a very difficult passage, it's going to hurt, you're not going to want to go there just out of resistance, and you're going to poo-poo or you're going to make fun of the healing aspect of ascension. You're not going to get it, you know, and it's okay. It's all good. We're wherever we are. But the part of the puzzle that I am here to share intentionally is that your healing is your ascension, and that your ascension is your freedom and your liberation to master this matrix and to go beyond it. And, you know, I've got my glasses are in the shop, so I'm not really, hey, sister, one is not born a woman, one becomes a woman. So don't let those men talk you down. Sweet. Thank you, sister. No, it's true. It's very interesting. The first like 3 months, I have a lot of love there. There's some brothers that hold space for me, and I'm very grateful because I don't know them. You know how we all hang out on social media and we become like family? We don't fucking know each other, but we get an essence. We get an essence frequency connection that you can lean into. And then you have these beautiful conversations and you begin to create a collective, you begin to create community. And I definitely have that at Grid Mind Science, but there has been sometimes just some really heavy pushback. They think I'm a guy. because of the words, I guess, grid mind science, because science is in it, and in the grids, in the Akashik, right? I mean, think about how many women, there are women in the science world, but, and I say this lightly because I know it's changing. Thanks for the love on Facebook. And thanks for the love on Insta. But it's been my experience, and I didn't even know this going in, that it's kind of like in a bubble of light, because this doesn't have to be true, but the filter anyway that I had experienced is that it's like a man's world, that science thing. And they're like, "Rrr, rrr." And I'm not saying, because I know there's plenty of dudes who they got me. I got teams of beautiful male brothers that I lean into and that hold space for me. And I'm very grateful in the work that I do. Yet what I bumped into is that like dudes were like, get out of here with your metaphysics, sister. You are not welcome. And they really let me know. And I had to grow a pair. I had to grow a pair and be like, you know what? I got something to say. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. I'm going to be here and do my thing. And so, nothing new under the sun. The reason why I put that whole theme and that whole little idea in a bubble of light is because those are the belief systems, though. If I really let that situation hanker me down and really had a strong belief that there was no room for women in science, there was no room for the divine feminine aspect, which is all I think that's really happening. The divine feminine is uprising, right? And Nassim Haramein, he's fully in tune with the divine feminine. He's fully breaking the mold. You know that he is not he does not have a master's degree in physics. Yet he's breaking the mold. He's working with physicists. He's working with quantum physicists and scientists. And he's connecting dots because as an intuitive from his youth, he's known things. He's felt things. He's sensed and he's intuited. His divine feminine is beautifully balanced with his masculine. If you watch him or you see interviews and stuff with him, he's been meditating since he was 15 years old. Dude's tuned in, And I have a lot of respect for scientists that meditate because, again, that's taking us beyond the matrix. When we meditate, we're going beyond the thinking mind. We're joining with what is beyond the matrix, beyond the mind, beyond the Akashic, and tapping into a plane, a doorway, a gateway, a portal that can lead beyond. Because if there's nothing new under the sun, then we might as well just close our eyes and just expect for nothing new to happen. Expect for the same reruns to happen in this world. And that's all that's happening, really, are the reruns of our past, of our pain, of our projections, of our judgments. And that's what this show is here to share. That's what the messages I'm here to share is. It doesn't have to be that way. Again, though, the root of a lot of that stuff is if you're stuck in your pain, and sometimes we're unconscious of it, but as you go and you meditate, you do spiritual stuff, you yoga, you breathe, you do Reiki or whatever it is that your path takes you, eventually you're going to bump into that wall or that doorway, that invitation that will invite you to take that good breath and go in and face your shadow down. If you cannot face your shadow down, your own stuff, if you cannot face your own shadow down within yourself, then how are you going to stand up against the bully of fear in the grid matrix? Now, next week, I'm going to do a show, so please tune in. And I'm not sure the exact title, but we're going to talk about the coronavirus because fear is a virus. It's going to be called something like the metaphysics of fear and the coronavirus or something. So next Thursday, 11 a.m. And I'm excited because I'm starting to get downloads. And it's a very important conversation to talk about our immunity and our energetic hygienity. Hygienity? Yes, our energetic hygienity. So let's come back here, though. First of all, I'm going to take a breath. And I, again, want to thank you, everyone, for being here on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. I bless this community. I'm grateful that I sit with these set of teachings that filter out and through and connect in so many ways, through the mind, through the emotions, with spirit. And that's all 4D Trinity. This show is about everything I share, is about us bridging the mind, the body, and the emotions with spirit. There's a lot of different teachers. We shared a lot of different fractals. Yet what I share is that your spirit is unfuckable with. Your spirit is perfect, is whole, holds the blueprint of mastery. It holds, the blueprint of ascension. It is your higher self. It is your Holy Spirit. It is your perfection, your Holy Grail hologram. And the more that we allow ourselves to open through the heart, right? There's only so far the mind will take you. And that's why this theme, nothing new under the sun, nothing new under the sun. Let's just think about that for a moment. The horizon of the world, and the sun, and how we are under the sun, and how there's nothing new under the sun. Just let that, just think about that for a moment. Just that image, right? Well, if I continue thinking that science is only for men, and that it's saturated by men and there's no room for me, or if I really hold tight to that judgment and to that projection, that's going to be the filter through which I experience my experiences regarding what I have to contribute and share in that world. And so I might continue to bump into people wanting to bully me, or wanting to close doors versus hold space and just like be open. Right. And think about all the little ways, though, that life can do that to us. And I could easily feel victimized. I could easily go into that, because if you read my book, The Reiki Apprentice, is my whole story autobiography, of a yoni, if you will. And I mean, I was fully bullied. We all have our story as a kid, right? But I was fully bullied. Absolutely. Like too shaken to the core when I was a little kid for years and years, plus a million other things, right? We all have our stories. And if I wouldn't have worked out my stuff, oh, blessings, thanks for the love on Facebook. If I wouldn't have worked out my stuff, right, then I would be threatened. I would still feel like the world is out to get me. These men are bullying me, or whatever all the stories are. But it's like, no, that's how there's nothing new under the sun, if you get it, right? So think about where you have your triggers, where you have your reactions that are polarized, that keep you bound to the loom of the matrix, that keep you bound to the loom of the grid. What are they? Right? Did someone cheat you out of money once, and now, or twice or three times, and now because you haven't resolved or forgiven or taken care of your financial situation, you still blame them, or you still blame yourself? And now anytime anything with money comes up, you're suspicious, or you're not generous, or, it's like, is it something like that? Or have you been really hurt by an ex-love and you haven't forgiven? You haven't sort of turned that corner and like had that closure, and everything in its divine time. Right? We can't really force that stuff, but we can create the correct conditions so that the divine balance and the divine alignment happens of its own accord. And that's where the noosphere happens. That's where we get out of the nothing new under the sun, because nothing new under the sun is us collapsing the wave function. If you follow me on Grid Mind Science, I posted this a couple days ago. Collapse the wave function in the name of love. Okay, so let's review. Here's picture that I often use to show us this idea of the grid matrix of collective consciousness, which is a majority of my teachings are about this. This is the third dimension. And this grid matrix is the collective of all of our minds, all of our consciousnesses through all time and space and dimensions. From the beginning of time, whenever that is, whenever we have collectively decided that there was a beginning to our acknowledgement of time. One thread began, another thread, and then all the definitions, all the feelings, all the experiences through all time, space, and dimensions that any of us have ever imagined, actually experienced, had, projected, judged, just thought about, daydreamed about. Everything is here. And it's like organized vibrationally. Like attracts like. So you're going to have all the grids of fear, all the grids of hate, all the grids of love collectively binding together, but creating this network of collective consciousness. Whatever we decide to put our awareness into is going to plug us directly into the grid matrix. And then we will be piped down that similar frequency. Everything is energy, and like attracts like, but you have the willpower to change your mind, to think your own thoughts. Thing is that often we are thinking those same thoughts that we've been thinking for many, many years, or for our whole life. And so being a master of your time and space, which is what I teach, is mastering your tongue, mastering your mind. Because really, if you can't wrestle in those wild horses of your mind, or you can't be a master of your tongue when you speak over your own life or to, the lives of others, if you just keep, I don't have to say anything polarized about it. You get it, right? If you can't speak in kindness, or just in neutral, positive or gentle ways, that's just a reflection of what's going on in the mind. And the idea is peace. The idea is getting out of that loop of polarity consciousness. Now that's the God phone. We'll get back to this in a moment. Hey, God. It's God. What's up? Ooh. Okay, God wants me to, okay, so this is a trip. So God says hi, but God's also saying for next week's show, when we talk about the metaphysics of fear and the coronavirus, God's inviting us all to do a little homework, especially if that resonates and you want to join next week, to do a little homework and look up the word and what else? The origin of the word corona. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. You want me to read from the Bible? Okay. Blessings, dear God. God says namaste. Thank you. I love you too. God is so cool. And if you're new to this show, right, God is a verb. I actually sell t-shirts that say God is a verb. Go to my website, tuesdaymaythomas.com. The link is in my bio at Instagram. But yeah, God is a verb, right? That's what I teach and what I share here, that God is a feeling. It is the feeling realization of unity, of oneness, that is outside of judgment, that is outside of polarity, that is outside of fear. God is love in motion, right? And you can, not agree, and that's all good, yet that's what I share. And God often, when God calls on this show, on the 4DT shows, God always calls and just has me gently reiterate and remind us, because there's a lot of teachings in the Bible and or I won't say in the Bible because I'm not that professed in the Bible, but there's a lot of teachings of a certain age that we're moving out of that would tell you that you need a priest, you need a nun, you need a guru, you need someone outside of yourself to help you connect to source, to help you connect to God, to love, to light, to universe, whatever name you give it. And God, this new now idea of God is saying, no, it's already here. You are that. It is within you. And what is it? It's an inter heart space dimensional shift and the realization of love. And it's giving love the right of way and passage through you, through your mind, through your tongue, through your thoughts, through your actions, through your hands, through your beautiful voice, right? Giving God the right of way, giving love the right of way. So I don't want anyone to freak out. Well, freak out if you're going to freak out. But the idea is that you don't need a middle man or a middle woman to find that divine connection, that it's already here. And it is the feeling realization of unity, of love in motion. And we get to feel that and share that together. And that's 4D, right? I know some of you know, I was recently a presenter at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles in February. And there's people, other people trying to sell stuff and coming around and saying, hey, you want to be a presenter at the 5D, whatever event, this and this and that, and be a speaker. And I was like, well, if you have a 4D, I'll be there, but I'm not called at this time to present 4D at the 5D, but who knows if it comes, I might consider it. But, and I don't teach about 5D because that's not my grid. That's not the space that I hold, but the space that I hold and that I teach about is all about the sacred space in the heart, the fourth dimensional consciousness that is, you can have your third eye open, and that can be through a lot of mushrooms, LSD, ayahuasca, journeys. And you can be a good person. You can just come into this life and have a third eye. You're already elevated, you're already activated. And I see there's comments on Facebook. Let me read them in just a moment. And yet, if you're only awakened here, you're not seeing the full picture. Again, remember, we're thinking about the horizon and the sun and nothing new under the sun. I'm going to come back to this picture as well here in a moment. So if you're only seeing from the third eye, which is powerful, right? We know if we've had a third eye awakening, it's mega. It's mega, mega. Yet what's even more mega, and what the ultimate key turning in the lock to activate your Taurus field beyond the Merkaba. You got to learn how to ride in that Merkaba, though. You got to learn how to hold that frequency of love in your energy body. Yet the next step is that Taurus. And really, that's the original step, because that's our true nature, is the frequency of love, is the levity, is our ability to levitate and be held and carried by those high, high frequencies of the Christ consciousness, right? And the doorway is through the heart again. So if we have the third eye open, wonderful. And if we allow the heart and the third eye as well to bridge, that is where we gain a certain ability to access and tap information and to be present for, yes, the new, yes, the now that is beyond the sun. Because now we are not only seeing on this horizon, seeing under the sun and seeing the grid matrix, we're not only viewing what is the Akashic replaying by us. All we're doing whenever we have a thought or we speak words, we're just replaying, right? Sending vibration through the universe from our body mind system, connecting through this grid matrix of collective consciousness, activating, putting our as my friend Nina from Ireland would say, putting our order in the cosmic kitchen of the universe. And then the universe is serving it back. And we create then the simulation of this holographic universe that we exist in. Yet, if we are thinking the same thoughts, and it is said, right, and I've looked and I've researched this, but you've probably heard this before, that it's said that, we have maybe 70,000 thoughts a day, and the majority of them are the same thoughts we've been thinking for 10 years, and we wonder why nothing's changing. Thoughts and words, I invite you, the teachings I share are to come back to those basics of how absolutely powerful and vital your conscious spoken word and your conscious thought is, because that is your force field. That is your life force. And again, if your tongue is lazy and your mind is lazy and you're speaking all sorts of and thinking all sorts of judgment, polarity, negative. And again, sometimes we're just unconscious. And a good friend will be like, they might tell you, but eventually when we do our spiritual work, we get it. And we're like, oh, let me just not say anything, or let me work on bridging a different experience through the mindfulness of my tongue. So what's up is that in the grid matrix, that is a subset of the Akashic records, right? And the Akashic holds everything, all the deleted pictures that are not in your phone anymore. It holds the records of the records of the records through all time, space, and dimensions, and then all the potential fields of past, future from those set points. Grid is a subset of that, of our collective consciousness. Now, again, if we're thinking the same thoughts over and over and over and over again, all we're doing is we're rerunning the holographic imprints, rerunning the Akashic memory through our bodies, through our minds, through our tongues, and creating the same experiences again. Now, this is why I say, let's go beyond this notion that there's nothing new under the sun. Because as long as we're under the sun, and as long as we're in the matrix, and as long as we're re-triggering those same patterns, those same paradigms, especially if you have a lot of pain, unforgiveness, things that are, seeking healing. And when it's time, if you're awake, if you're watching this show, you know when it's time to start opening that book or seeing that healer or learning to meditate or whatever it is for you, to begin to gently make that way in that direction. But that's, again, what loosens us from those ties that bind us and keep us held into this conditioned story that there's nothing new under the sun. Because if you have had the experience, in the grid matrix, I call it the binary system. It's the ones and zeros. It's the yes, no, right, wrong, left, right, up, down, right? It's the institutionalized, it's the blueprint that we get when we come into this world. This it's like our set point hard drive, ability to just be and function in this world with these set points. Yet when you heal your life, when you meditate, when you do ceremonies or whatever it is for you that activate, again, not only the third eye, but your heart, because your heart is another third eye. I always teach that these are twins, these are cousins, right? And really, when you activate the third eye, your heart will begin to open. When your heart begins to open, your third eye will begin to open. Yet if there's more honor given to just the third eye versus not being in sync and in balance with the heart, that's when, again, you're only seeing along the horizon. And if you want to go back on my YouTube to my playlist 4D Trinity, I think when we came in this new year, I did a show called 2020 Vision that's all about bridging, right? Bridging the horizon of the 3D with the ascended aspect of being able to see, not just with the physical eyes. I know I still have to read that comment on Facebook, but not just with the physical eyes. These are our tools to see in the world. But we learn how to use these physical eyes and see either love or fear. We are taught how to see love, how to see fear. Toggling between love and fear keeps us toggling through the matrix, but we learn again with the teachings I share how to master the matrix. And I am going to be completing, I've been searching for a way to do it, and I think it's going to be, what's that thing called? Now I forgot, but it's a platform where you can sign up, and I'm going to make videos and courses and stuff. What's it called? It starts with a P. Anyway, I'll remember it. But the physical eyes, we learn, right? We learn how to see beyond this matrix by choosing how to see through the eyes of love. And that's a practice, right? I see with eyes of love, to not be suspicious, to not be judgmental, to notice where you are projecting polarized notions to people, places, things, events, because that's what's nothing new under the sun. And it's up to us to rerun energy in ways that are new, because the new is the now. And the now is outside of the Akashik. The now is where the new that is something that has not been happened before. That is beyond the sun, right? Because we get these eyes, the physical eyes. We learn mastery. We learn how to see love. Even though fear is there, the dual polarized aspect is there. We've learned fear in this matrix. We've learned it, but we decide and we practice that we're going to see with eyes of love. And we strengthen that. And eventually our vision goes away if you want to get really deep, and God's vision sees through your eyes. And ultimately, then, as we ascend, the third eye, the heart center, activate, and we begin to see with this second set of eyes. And that's what I'm saying is our 2020 vision. You're not just seeing here, but you're seeing here as well. Now, we do have to do that little bit of reading from the God phone. And forgive me, my glasses. Amy, I love you. Stefan, blessings. Charles says, do another live ayahuasca ceremony and play some more cool music. I don't usually talk about that, but I do have a, on my YouTube, subscribe. If you are new to me and you're just, you're into the vibes, you want to be a part of the community, go to my YouTube. I have like 300 or 400 videos of all sorts of random spiritual, metaphysical, little bits of sound bites of sciencey stuff. And, a couple years ago, I was gifted a very large amount of medicine that I sat with in great reverence and respect for like over a half a year, figuring out just how to listen and commune with that divine vine and plant and listen to her guidance, to be with her. And then in the last setting that I sat with her, I was sitting alone in ceremony, and I was 2 cups in and I was getting ready. She guided the 3rd cup. And then she said, and you're going to record it. And I was like, are you fucking serious? I was like, is that me? Is that my ego? Or is that really the medicine? And it was like, no, the medicine is guiding. We have messages we want to channel through you. So I just put the laptop up, drank the 3rd cup, and it's on my YouTube. So again, if you're new, go to my website, which is my full name, TuesdayMayThomas.com. All of the little icons are there. You can just click to go to my YouTube, click to go to my LinkedIn or to my SoundCloud or any of that sort of stuff. So thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're getting heavy. We're getting into this. It's 11:34. Let's see. Blessings. My glasses look awesome. You're so sweet. And you know what? These are the, thank you. These are, I have a second pair of these that are in the shop right now getting tuned up. So we're going to read, right? The God phone rang and God was like, okay, let's check this out. And honestly, what I have to tell you is that my best friend, if you're a mentor, if you're a teacher, and perhaps in the way of spiritual aspects, you have students, right? You have apprentices sometimes. And many of my apprentices have turned into being just some of the dearest, best friends in my life. And as you know, as a teacher, you are still a student. And when you really surrender to being that mentor, to being that teacher, and taking on a student in a very close way, whereby you have them under your wing for several years in absolute honesty and clarity, and really really sharing whatever the teachings are. For me, it's been the metaphysics, the grid, and the Reiki, where I've had powerful apprentice experiences. So anyway, my most recent apprentice, who's now my BFF, Will, a lot of you know him. This morning, they come up because now he's a master in his own right. For many years, we're just friends, and we're just like, we're roommates right now at this time. And but once in a while, then the apprentice hat will come back on. He'll be like, look, 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 and he'll like help out. And that's what he did this morning. He knew I was doing the show, Nothing New Under the Sun, and he goes, look, 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 look. And so I opened up the Bible because he had looked up some stuff. Do you know, I didn't even realize this, and maybe you did. And if you have more, send me this, because if we need to do a second little show about this, we will. In the book of Ecclesiastes, and forgive my tongue if I am not pronouncing it correctly. A lot of people know a lot more about Bible studies than I do. So I come humbly. But anyway, I want to read you this because Ecclesiastes, or the preacher, I'm going to read a few paragraphs. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? Again, we're talking about our theme, nothing new under the sun. A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. So I want to stop there because I am a student of A Course in Miracles as well. And there's this resonance with this where it's speaking about vanities. All is vanity. What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? We think about the 3D matrix. We think about the things that we're told are important, like money, like fame, like beauty, like, you know, this just the very material, which is great to have money. It's great to feel, you know, beautiful or attractive. It's great to, you know, all these things. Yet if there isn't a holistic system, if that's all there is, right, then well, that's just the matrix. There's no judging it, but it's only one dimension of the fullness, of the beauty, of the potential, let's say, of how beautiful things can actually be, of how abundant and prosperous things can be beyond just having that money. But do you feel, you know, there's people who have money, but they feel poor in spirit. They feel like they're not free. You know what I mean? So there's these interesting complex things. But so I'm just reading into this because a generation goes and a generation comes. Okay, at which he toils under the sun. So it's like this, we almost become a slave to making the money, a slave to, like, I remember for years, if you read my book, The Reiki Apprentice, it's on Amazon, it's got Kindle, it's in Kobo if you're in Canada, that for years of my whole life, I struggled with weight gain. And I used to exercise and work out because I hated my body. And I would just be like, oh, like mad at it and exercising and like looking at it with, you know, eyes of hate. And now it's completely different. If you follow me on Insta, I've like post my little, I'm a booty enthusiast. That's one of my things on my Instagram. And I love sharing bits of my workout and stuff like that. I think it's really fun because now I've learned how to love the body. And so if you understand, so I'm weaving that in with this first aspect here. What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? Again, under the sun, a generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The earth, what I teach with these teachings is that the world is different from the earth. The world is the grid matrix. The world is the 3D, the third dimension, where we are bodies who need to make money in order to be happy and have a hot body or whatever, you know, all the things are that are a part of the illusion, are a part of, and I'm doing that. And really, I don't need to do that. But if you understand, again, that can be a grind that we can get into. And the point being that we can still be unhappy and there's nothing new under the sun because we're rerunning those same programs. I'm working out because I hate my body. I'm just at this job because I'm programmed and conditioned to think that I need to make this amount of money in order to be a man or to have worth in this world, etc. But the earth remains forever. The earth, 3D is the world, 4D through the heart center. We create the earth. Our consciousness, the awakening of the heart center is what creates the new earth under our feet. And it is a moment by moment experience. It is an interdimensional experience through the heart. You will begin to see things differently. I remember telling my friend who's going to be on the show soon, I don't know how I'm going to do it on Facebook and on Insta. I don't even know if I can do it on YouTube, but where I'm going to have a guest. I'm going to start having a few guests on my 4D Trinity. And I remember saying to him that, like, I didn't see chemtrails for a whole year. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it wasn't in my consciousness. And some people I know watching this are going, Chem who? Maybe you haven't even heard of them. And that's one thing, right? But I had heard of them, and I had been a staunch like person raising my fist in the air and being very angry at all the elements of why they're even here. And I went full circle over, a 15-year period to the point where it's so not in my consciousness anymore. I actually stopped seeing that stuff in the sky. And he was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And that's what I'm saying is there's an interdimensional shift. The earth plane, the fourth dimensional existence is embedded, is enmeshed, is right next to the third dimensional existence. Yet where are your set points of consciousness? That will determine your experience. That will determine whether you are going to agree there's nothing new under the sun, and so this is just the reruns again of the Akashik, of the grid, or there is something new. There is something, because I'm not just looking on the horizon. I'm awake, I'm aware, I'm activated, and I know there is a point beyond the sun. I know there is a point beyond the grid matrix. And what is this? This is the gateway to the 0 point. This is the interdimensional tiny space in your heart that is the gateway that goes beyond the dual realm of this 3D matrix reality. It is what takes us beyond and into the fourth dimensional consciousness, where the nowosphere exists and what is out of time as we know it. Let's keep going. Ecclesiastes. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it rises. The wind blows to the south and goes round to the north, and round goes the wind. And on its circuits, the wind returns. Okay, so again, that's like the feedback loop. What we put into the grid matrix returns to us. We create the simulation of this holographic universe by our thoughts, our words, our agreements. Most of them are unconscious until we start to wake up, right? Okay. All streams run to the sea, but the sea is not full. To the place where the streams flow, there they flow again. So again, this rerunning. All things are full of weariness. A man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing. Now here, just a moment. The eye is not satisfied with seeing. So again, if you follow me on Grid Mind Science, I posted something that's very dear to my heart. It was a powerful little PowerPoint in a way from my kitchen cupboard that I did last spring for the movie. I'm making a movie project called Grid Mind Science, but also for the presentation I did just recently at the Conscious Life Expo. And I'd put up all these themes and set points on my kitchen cupboard. Go to Grid Mind Science if you're interested. If you dig the vibe here, at Grid Mind Science. I believe it's at the Grid Mind Science on Facebook as well. And it's like a little 14-minute IGTV. And it's just the camera in the kitchen going through all these themes and breaking it down. And there's this point again where we get to a point where we are not the ones looking. We're going to do a little meditation here shortly after I finish reading this part from the Bible. But where we get so turned on, we've become so accustomed and so activated and able to see with eyes of love beyond the polarity that we've been taught in the loom of the grid matrix, that 4D begins to kick in, the third eye, the heart. We see the vertical axis. And we still see the earth, we still see the world, the third dimension, but we're seeing it with eyes of love. We don't have to judge it. We don't have to make people wrong. We don't have to be scared of the chemtrails. We don't have to be freaked out about the coronavirus. We don't have to have the triggers, you see, because we see what's beyond the sun. We see what's beyond the sun. We see the earth. We see the earth. And what is beyond the earth. Okay, so what has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. Again, that's the nothing new under the sun. What has been will be, what will done will be done, right? And that's a trance. that we either agree to or not. And I'm here today to tell you that there's another way to even consider things if it resonates. I don't have to be right about anything. Skylark, blessings for saying hi on YouTube. You know what? I'll read your passage in just a moment, love. Okay, and then there's, okay, so here it is. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done, and there is nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastics or the Preacher. King James, Holy Bible. So isn't that interesting? So that's how deeply rooted it's in the Bible. Like, I didn't even realize that. I already had this show set up, and the BFF again comes in this morning. And he's like, look, look, look. And I was like, dude, thank you so much. This is awesome. So that's how deeply ingrained that it is. I've even, like last year, I remember even posting, there's this cute little post meme going around with a little caterpillar, like holding an umbrella. And it's a totally natural picture, but there's a little, memery that says, there's nothing new under the sun. And I even reposted it last year thinking, oh yeah, this is cute. But now, as my Matrix Akashik, whirlpool of awakening and has come deeper, and especially just through the nudge from spirit to share this information. When you're guided to share your teachings, whatever it is that you're here to share, whether it's Tai Chi or art or writing skills or whatever it is, when you're guided to share and you say, okay, you will be given more to share. I know you might know that, but I'm just reminding you, because that's, to me, being a teacher and a facilitator, that is like one of the juiciest gifts. So let's see what Christine says. Hi, what do you do when you had a friend over and after they left, you noticed an item missing from your home and then another time saw it in their home? She stole from me. Forgive, confront, take it. Well, this is not the Ask Me Anything questions and answer show, which I usually do. And we're still going to meditate here shortly. But since you asked and I read, obviously it's what your heart says to do. But I feel that, like, often the answer is in your offering there. Forgive and confront. Forgive and confront. There was an interesting question. So as well, if you're new to this live stream, once a month on my weekly, I go live with a show that's a part of 4D Trinity, where I do Ask Me Anything question and answers. And we just did it. I think it was like last week I was in Mexico hanging with the gray whales. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It was amazing. We'll talk about that another time. So I didn't have a show last week, but it was the week before I did the Q&A. And people just sign up. You bring up your questions, and I get through as many as I can. So as you know, just so you know, if you're new to this show, in about 3 weeks, keep an eye out for the posts, and I'll be doing that. If you have a question you want me, what I do is I channel your higher self. So anyway, Chris, this is very much like a question that had come up last week. And what the guidance was absolutely forgive and absolutely confront. But when you do confront, be free of your polarity. Be free of your, right? If there's any barbs, as Marianne Williamson says, any like sharp little points that you might be, pissed about, come from a place of being connected to your higher self and just tell the truth. Maybe you're wrong, maybe you're not, but be gentle and be light with yourself and with them, and just tell it like it is, and with a smile and with grace, and offer them grace. Sometimes people are going through some really weird shit and unconsciously can do some really weird stuff. And especially if this is a friend and someone that you love and that sometimes they do these weird things in our presence so they can be called out, because they want to be better. They want to learn. Or they're unconscious. So, but forgiveness definitely first, and keep forgiving and confront under grace as your higher self. Okay, so we're going to meditate here now. I'm so grateful, everyone over in Facebook land. Thank you, because this is new for me to be able to be on Facebook. I want to thank Laura. I love you, sister. I miss you so much. Fiona, blessings. Christine, thank you for being here. And everyone in Insta land. I love my Instagram fam. I love y'all. Oh, be like jelly. Blessings, brother. Yes, boho. Woo! Sweet. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. So I pray, as always, that the messages I share fully, inform and activate your DNA. You know, the ancestors, the natives would say when they tell stories, that you feel your DNA get tingled, right? You feel something like within you, and know that whether you're, I mean, it would be amazing if you feel that at all with what I share, because I get it for me, but I can't uh, tell you what you get. But whenever you get those tingles, whatever information you're watching or receiving or reading, a book or a show or a video, that's your DNA reconfiguring. That's your DNA responding and realigning itself. I heard a Native American share this recently, that that's your energy body reconfiguring in alignment with that truth. So pay attention. And if there have been any nuggets today that have like kind of tingled, like pay attention, because there's something there for you. Um, there's a breadcrumb trail for you there. If you want to be a part of my community, follow on Insta, Tuesday May Thomas, follow my movie project, Grid Mind Science, Insta, Facebook, hit my YouTube icon at my website. I do spiritual counseling, spiritual coaching. I have a special right now for my tarot card readings and my Akashik. We go into the Akashic records and we clear energy through the grid matrix. I have a special on that. So you can email me, DM me if you have questions or you're interested. And most of all, join my community. Go to the first page of my website, tuesdaymaythomas.com. You'll see it, a little subscription box. You can sign up and just receive my monthly love letter. Okay, so let's get comfy. We're going to take a little, oh, blessings, Chris. You're very welcome. We're going to take a little meditation. So take a moment, close your eyes. You can lay down or sit upright. It's going to be about a 6, maybe a 7-minute meditation. Maybe you're in an area right now where the rain is falling. Just let your awareness expand out through your senses and feel into the sounds inside the room where you are and outside the room. Take a breath in and out. And just allow whatever sounds or lack of sound may be happening in or around you to be a part of this meditation. Imagine shrinking yourself down and dropping into the center of your heart. And within this divine center of your heart, you meet your higher self. However your higher self looks or feels or comes to you, just be open and aware. And feel yourself acknowledging higher self as acknowledged by higher self as well. And then from this divine space in the center of the heart, we are all of us performing this meditation through all time, space, and dimensions. We're all going to imagine being in a beautiful rose quartz crystalline cave. And imagine you're finding a little meditative seat, and whatever you need is there for you to be comfortable in this rose quartz crystalline cave where we do our work today. A higher self is with you, either sitting across from you or right next to you. And from this divine space of the heart, drop in a little bit deeper. Take a full inhale for mind, a full exhale, a breath for body, a full exhale, relaxing, and one for spirit. Now sitting in this beautiful cave and in this space of your very own heart, drop into your heart even deeper and feel your heart connected to your higher self's heart. higher self's heart connected to yours. And ask to be shown or to hear, to sense, to become aware of what parts of your life you can begin to think of or speak of and consider in new ways that you can bridge now experiences. In what way can you begin to think or speak about aspects from your life that will basically get you off the grid, get you out of the matrix, out of the Akashic reruns, and help to create the correct conditions that you can rest, reside, and be carried by the now moment, by the newness of that which is beyond the sun, of that which has never happened before. Listening, observing, maybe it's a part of your life that requires healing or forgiveness, or just seeing things in a new way. And maybe that aspect is still coming. If you need help, ask your higher self to make it clear to you. And if you're ready for a second aspect to be illumined, ask for it. Ask your higher self to show you, to let it bubble up in your awareness and your consciousness. Where can you think and speak and consider aspects of your life in a new way that you can get out of playing the reruns? Maybe it's of being the victim. Maybe it's of being a suspicious person that keeps you bound in the matrix. What is it? Let your higher self help you come into that awareness now. If you're ready for a second, go back in even deeper. If you're ready for a third aspect to be awakened again, ask your heart, ask your higher self, what is it now that I can be aware of? You can put it in your own words. And maybe it's standing up for yourself. Maybe it's about creating more of the correct conditions to trust your truth. Whatever it is, listen, observe, expand, and open now. It might come as a picture, as a feeling, as a set of words, as a little movie. And then connect with your higher self. And whether it's one, two, or three aspects, ask your higher self for each one of them for some guidance. How or what way can you think or speak in different ways regarding these aspects? Again, it may come as a little visual, it may come as a word or a feeling. Higher self, how can I speak or think differently over these aspects of my life to create the correct conditions to create the correct conditions to allow a fourth dimensional consciousness, an experience of the now, to carry me into what is new. Now, if there's more, it will continue to come to you through your day. And when you're ready, begin to slowly bring awareness back to your breath. And again, if those downloads keep coming, just keep open. And say thank you to your higher self. Consciously acknowledging this rose quartz crystalline cave. And the sacred space in your heart. And over 3 breaths, you're going to grow yourself back into the full size of your physical body where you are now. Taking a deep breath in. And exhale, expanding. Growing bigger. And again, a full inhale. And exhale, growing larger and larger. And one more deep breath in. And a deep breath out. We'll open the eyes and bring awareness back to the room. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I'm so grateful. Again, I'm Tuesday May Thomas, and this is 4D Trinity, my weekly live stream. Next week, I'm going to be doing a show that is called The Metaphysics of Fear and the Coronavirus. So stay tuned. I appreciate all of your love and support. Thank you for subscribing and for following and all that juiciness. So thank you and blessings. Have a great, great day, everyone. Thank you so much. Now I got to figure out how to do this. Here we go. Blessings. Blessings, everyone in YouTube.